It was almost dark, but the hustle and bustle on the platform could be seen from afar. It was bright. Because of cold weather, many people didn't go to work, but the people who were suffering from poverty had to go to work anyhow to survive in this evil world. Very few people were sitting on the bench. She was also sitting on one of the benches, covering herself in a big and warm coat to save herself from the freezing cold. Red whereupon scarf covering her golden beautiful hair, some strands of her hair coming out from the scarf covering her pale face. Why? And roaming her eyes on the platform, as if someone was following her. She was scared, sitting, concerned about herself. She was waiting for her friend Jenny Kim, with who she goes to her hometown daily. She was sitting hugging herself because of the cold. She took the newspaper to replace beside her as she read her newspaper. The colors on her face drains the news on the newspaper scared her to death. She started shivering. In scared state, she stared at every person on the platform. She knew she had to stay careful. From last few days, a mysterious man was killing innocent women who were out for work purposes. Why? And was also scared, but to support her mother and younger brother, she had to work. The killer was still not caught. The police and other departments could find any of his clue. This made her more scared. And today he also killed another innocent woman. It was terrifying. In order to support her mother and younger brother. Why? And worked hard finding an efficient job in city. Jenny Kim worked as a sales girl in a small store. She was tired from this job. She insisted on working in city for a better pay. Why? And mother protested. But thinking about her family, she agreed. It was becoming more difficult for Why? And to sit in the cold, which was increasing every minute. She looked at her wristwatch, still waiting for her friend and train, which was about to arrive. She looked to her right to see her friend coming towards her, and to her surprise they also came. They quickly walked towards the train. Why? And was in front of the train door when suddenly a mysterious-looking man jumped out of the train, bumping hard into Why? And she would have fell if the man who bumped into her wouldn't have hold her from her waist. Jenny stood there with jaw dropped to the floor. They stood straight. Why? And burning with anger looked at him with red eyes. He still had his hands in her waist. She jerked his off her and said, Why? N. Are you blind or what? Can't you see while walking? Because of you I would have got hurt. She screamed on him. Sorry. I was in a hurry. Nothing happened right then. Why are you screaming like a fool? He said in disgust while fixing his jacket. Why? N. Rude man. My heart was about to come out of my chest. And you were saying nothing happened. If you had fell on a big guy like you, he would have punched you.
Why, N? But you fell on a girl. And now you are taking advantage of the situation, thinking you are manly. She shouted in ready-to-fight manner, making him bored. Oh, that girl's sympathy fever. I don't have time to listen to nonsense. Speaking sharply, he fell down without stopping and bent down to pick up his wallet, etc. On the other side, ready to say something, Rosalind's voice dropped in her throat when she saw a shiny object next to the wallet, which the man picked up and put in his jacket. It was hidden, and without looking back, he continued to move forward. A meaningful, silent glance was exchanged between YON and Ginny. In the specific compartment of the train, they both sat on their specific seats. Ginny Kim, why is your color blown? Ginny looked at her with smiling eyes. YON, that's what you're asking me. You didn't see how fast this person first picked up the dagger and hid it. After all, what does it mean? You can understand if you think about it, she said in a whisper. Ginny Kim, I can only understand that you suspect every other man to be the killer, whose crimes are being circulated everywhere, Ginny said angrily. YON, what will you say about this man? You have seen the dagger with your own eyes? YN said immediately. Jinny Kim? Yes, I saw. But someone can keep a dagger or a revolver for protection. We can't make assumptions and look at everyone with suspicion, Jinny said in an explanatory manner. Jinny Kim, YN. Don't let this murderer overpower you so much that it's difficult to even leave your house to work. You have to be brave or you'll be of no use fearing everyone like this. She was silent on Jinny's cry. Jinny Kim, by the way, tell this guy very well. You have had fun. The way he jumped out of the train, my heart was in my throat. I thought that you have been attacked. What will happen now? YN. I think it was an attack, but after seeing his dagger, I am starting to believe that. Jinny Kim, there is nothing like that. No one can do such a stupid thing on the platform. To do such an act, at least no guilty criminal would do it. He did not look like a criminal from anywhere. YN. Whatever it is, don't talk about it now. I'm horrified. Jinny was shocked when YN shouted. Only a few people were seen in the compartment at that time, and they were also far away. YN's gaze went to the seat in front and an idea struck. YN. The train is about to leave and it hasn't arrived yet. Jinny Kim. Who? That poor man. You don't suspect him to be a murderer? Double quotes. At Jinny's smiling tone, she was left looking at her. It was then that the person entering the compartment caught the attention of both. Jinny Kim, the one you were waiting for has arrived. Jinny mumbled in her ear, but she paid no attention. Silently, she continued to look at him, who was sitting in a corner of his reserved seat in front of her with his head and eyes bowed. His black coat, worn and torn in many places, was unable to withstand the cold. He still had a bag full of dry bread in his hands and an umbrella which he propped against the seat, and the bag of bread he placed on the seat nearby. YN knew that now he would be looking out the window all the time. He didn't care about other passengers or the girls he was attracted to. This person was traveling in this compartment daily for the past few days. His journey must have ended with the train at the last station, because when YN got off at the station in her town, the man was still seen sitting on the seat. The station after the town was the last station on the train, so YN realized that he was from the last station town. The face and appearance of the person with the black coat showed such sadness and mourning that even though she didn't want to, her heart was drawn towards him. YN felt a strange sympathy and affection for him. Couldn't anyone suspect this simple, poor person? Jinny Kim, you don't get tired of seeing this person every day? YN, no, she said with a deep breath. Jinny Kim, from the outside, he looks poor and poor, but that doesn't mean that he should stay dead. He is a very good young man. He looks like he belongs to a good house. Even if he does, his face doesn't shine. It seems strange to me. Don't pay attention to it. Jinny spoke irritatedly in response. She was about to say something when suddenly the person who entered the compartment startled not only her but also Jinny. The person coming from the other side, seeing both of them, just knocked for a moment and then turned away and rested on the other end of the front seat. Jinny, he came down here too. Jinny whispered. Jinny, let's go on an hour-long journey. Someone will be alive. He'll be happy. We're on our way today. I'm sick of seeing this hideous dead. He looked at the man for a moment and then started staring out the window again. After the confrontation and bitter words on the platform, YN's anxiety was increased too. See this rude person sitting in front of her. She was feeling an unknown fear. While that person ignored both of them, he opened the newspaper and got engrossed in reading. Ginny, exterminate. I had this misconception that I look beautiful even without makeup. If I had put on makeup, I would have seen how he would have preferred to pennies newspaper over me. Ginny said, burning. Y or N was just listening to the burnt tone. Ginny Kim. Damn you, that crazy killer, who is the enemy of beautiful young girls. If I hadn't made a promise to my manager, I would never have taken off my makeup and left the restaurant. Why aren't you saying anything? At once, Ginny felt her silence. YN, don't you think we're being followed? There was something in YN's low voice that Ginny couldn't say as she glanced at the man glancing at the newspaper and then again at YN's worried expression. 1, 2, 3, and even today, on the fourth day, when they both entered the compartment, YN's face became pale when she saw the person who was already reading the newspaper. Ginny's foot was slipped as she walked forward. Seeing her stumbling, the man forgot the newspaper and immediately got up to support her. What happened to Y or N was that she pulled Ginny to her side with a jerk. YN, stay away. He doesn't need your help. Rebuking this person in a harsh tone, she took Ginny with her and went to her seat. But Ginny was angry at YN's bad manners. You are right. He was asking Ginny despite YN's rebuff. Ginny Kim. I'm fine, thanks a lot. Ginny spoke very cheerfully. Ginny Kim, I want to apologize to you for my friend's behavior. She was upset because of me, she said bluntly. No, her behavior is justified. My first encounter with her was in such a way that anyone in her place would have behaved the same way. I should have apologized for my mistake at that time. He was also looking seriously at Y or N, who was staring at the platform outside the window, pretending to be indifferent. Ginny Kim. No matter what happened, it happened. Now you apologize for the mistake, Ginny said cheerfully, while Y or N looked at her with a ravenous look. YN. I'm so sorry for all this. I'm sorry. I hope you'll forgive me. He spoke seriously and turned to Ginny's smiling face. My name is Jungkook. Nice to talk to you, Ginny. He smiled slightly for the first time. Ginny Kim. I liked it too. I think you will travel in this train every day. Talking to you will make the trip better. YN was left speechless at Ginny's cheerfulness, while Jungkook smiled and turned his head to his newspaper. No one noticed except Y or N. He sat down in his seat a short distance away from Jungkook, umbrella and bag of bread still with him. Looking at his tattered coat, Y or N wished somehow she could sew his coat or give him another coat. The train was running at full speed. The man in the ragged coat was looking out the window with his desolate eyes in the darkness. Watching him for a second, YON felt someone's gaze on her face. Shocked, she saw Jungkook staring at the newspaper and then looking out the window, shaking her illusion. As YN's attention was diverted, Jungkook again looked away from the newspaper and cast a deep look at her. Today, there was already a man with a black rotten coat in the compartment. Casting a longing glance at these two girls, he was again outside the platform. Ginny Kim, the manager, is becoming very sensitive to me. He thinks I'm after a killer in the city. I'm starting to follow his instructions, but it's a beautiful feeling to have someone in this world who is selfless for you, Ginny said with a smile. YN. Then I'm ready to hear the news that the manager is going to propose to you. YN looked at the pale colors on her face and replied, nodding her head cheerfully. Ginny Kim, well, this clueless man is very lucky too, because you are in his sympathy and concern, and he doesn't even know it. Ginny said mischievously and pointed at the man in the black worn coat. YN. Don't make fun of him. He is a poor, hard-working human being. I appreciate him a lot, the exhaustion of centuries on his face, and how much desolation is in his eyes looking at him. It seems that the world is free from all abominations. She was speaking in a dreamlike state to the man in the black rotten coat when suddenly, quite unexpectedly, the man seeing outside turned his head to look at her, and Yen remained silent as she saw the faint smile on his face. This smile was so precious to Yen that it was only for her. She didn't know that she was smiling in return. She didn't even feel Jungkook's arrival and presence in this strange situation. The coat salesman looked out the window again, glancing in a somewhat sly manner, while Yen was taken out of her trance by Ginny's chirping voice. Ginny Kim? Hello, Jungkook. You're on time. The train has started moving as soon as you've arrived, Ginny said. Jungkook. Yes, you are right. I have arrived on time. He spoke in a strangely rough tone and sat down on the seat with a sidelong glance at Yen's spotted face. Unrolling the roll of newspaper in his hand, Jungkook cast a keen eye on the man sitting some distance away, who was looking out the window. Was oblivious to Ginny Kim. Jungkook's mood seems a bit messed up today. He doesn't speak much, but answers everything I say very politely. But knowing what happened today, I don't have the courage to address him again. Ginny spoke softly in a low voice. Yen. Ginny, don't feel bad. You are my friend and my benefactor. I wanted to stop you from being kind to this person. I think this person is a mess from the beginning. Didn't you see how cunning he was? You should not break your promise to your manager by talking to this person. This and other travelers like him are strangers to us. Caution is very important to us. He is a murderer in any form. It can come in front of us from anywhere. We have to protect ourselves. The conditions in the city are such that we can't even trust our shadow. You have to stay away from this person. I don't want you to trust him and kill yourself. Put in any danger. At Yen's whispered tone. Ginny glanced at Jungkook, who was focused on the newspaper. Ginny Kim, you're right, but what should I do? Jungkook. I like him so much that I can't live without talking to him. Ginny smiled mischievously.